I'm gonna title this video Anime versus American comics. But I like both styles. Both styles are different, but I like both styles. But let me explain. I'm gonna give the audience the benefit of the doubt and say you guys are smart people. So I'm not gonna get into naming people who and what and how. You could figure out and connect the dots. One platform has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And the other platform just continues on and on and on with the same stories. Now, let me be clear. I believe anime, one thing I love about their storytelling is there's a lot of emotions to their fighting. There are a lot of emotions to the relationships. And comics used to be that way in the 70s and 60s, 80s, 90s, but they lost that. And look, I don't control who runs the comic book industry. They decided to give it to people who are... It's weird because most of these corporation overlords are pretty much Republican. I know people who work for Disney and watch Fox News. But Marvel and DC has been run by extreme left activists. Why? Who knows? That's another whole can of worms. It's like asking why teachers that are women hook up with their teenage students. I don't know why that happens all the time. Because women don't usually act like pedophiles like men do. But if they do act like that, it's usually high school students and the teacher's sexy. I don't know why that is. It's the same reason why I don't know why the comic book industry is run by way leftist AOC activists. Why that is a thing under a corporate rule run by Republican leaders in Disney and Warner Brothers, I have no clue. On Hollywood, once again, I have no clue why that is. It is what it is. But I think that anime, I'm not going to put it against comic books. I think it's better because the storytelling is better and they haven't lost the interest. People want good stories. They want violence. They want beautiful women. They want people making love, romance. And anime gives you that. I mean, let's break it down for you. Does DC characters have great Western characters? Yes. Does Marvel have great? Marvel used to be a Western comic book company, and not just a Western comic book company, a horror comic book Western company. It was the Fantastic Four that decided, well, maybe we should do the superhero thing. What anime does very well, which Marvel and DC can learn, is they have genres all over the place. Just kind of like Image Comics, horror, police novelist. And both Marvel and DC have great detective characters, horror characters, Western characters. They have genres of spies. So Marvel and DC could do what anime's doing. Anime doesn't just fixates on storytelling. They do demon slayers, vampire hunters, and Marvel and DC have magic characters who hunt vampires. Some of them are even vampires. Hello, Marvel Universe, you have Blade. Which, to me, I don't understand why Blade cannot be made by MCU. It just boggles my mind. That's the most easiest movie. Evil vampires, and you have a cool black character slaying them. Why MCU can't get that movie on track, I have no clue whatsoever. But to get back to the story at hand, I like anime, I like Marvel comic books, I like DC comic books, but the old version, the 90s, even the early 2000s was good. Jeff Johns did a fantastic job. But now, it's becoming boring. Preachy. You could put politics in comic books, but it has to be done right, not preachy. You know, if I said Charles Xavier versus Magneto, you know what the argument about? Charles Xavier saying, hey man, this train always has to come when I'm doing a video. Anyway, the politics in comic books you can have, it's very simple. You have Magneto saying, hey, we can't trust any of these humans. They all betray us. And you got Charles saying, no, some of them are good people. They don't betray us. And you get a debate. When it becomes a debate, not pushy, not preachy. If it becomes a debate, it's a great storytelling. That's why the X-Men work. It works because you're saying, hey, I don't know if we can work with these humans. They're scumbags. And another guy's saying, no, they're not. They're great people. They're fantastic people. We can work with these people. Not all of them are bad. But you can see Charles has a point. You also can see that Eric has a point, Magneto. The same thing could be said with Captain America, Steve Rogers, and Tony Stark, Iron Man. Tony has a point. If we go, let's start with the movie version. The movie version is if we go to another land, do you think Russia wants superpower beings invading their lands, getting involved in their business? China? That's what the MCU was talking about. And Steve Rogers goes, we have no choice. We have to do that. Now, the comic book version was property being destroyed. Well, also with the movies too, property being destroyed. But the comic book version was also people were dying, and we need to show people's identity. We need to be in check. Both of them are similar, the movie version and DC version. But the point is, you understand Steve Rogers saying, look, we don't want people in our way. We don't want people stopping us from saving people's lives. And you understand Iron Man's situation, Tony Stark, hey, we need people to put us in check. We can't be running around half-cocked. Both of them had legitimate arguments. It makes it a debate. When you make things a debate and you don't make it preachy and in your face and saying, you evil white man, you don't like Kamala Khan, even though I think she's a cool character, but if you don't like her, you're racist. That's not the way to handle business, folks. And anime has genres. They have, I think, Chainsaw Man movie was pretty good. I love Demon Slayer movie. I thought it was fantastic. So they're going in different directions. If I was in charge of Marvel and DC, I think you need new writers, but you also need to keep the old ones. I think if I was in charge of Marvel right now, anime's in the perfect situation. They don't need any help. Unfortunately, the American comic books do. But if I was Marvel right now, and I'll go with what I'd do if I was DC. The guy who wrote Batman, who created Bane, Chuck, his name is Dickerson. Maybe he's saying his name wrong. The guy who created Bane, Chuck, I think he should be doing Winter Soldier and Captain America. Jeff Johns should be doing the Hulk. And I believe Sasha's sister should be doing Deadpool. I also think Batman should be done by Hickman, and Superman. I think the Justice League should be written by Morrison. Jeff Johns should be doing any character he wants on Marvel or DC. I think you should hire at least 5 great writers and have some nice young ones. Look at the guy who's writing for Aquaman, Jeremy Adams. There's a lot of great anime writers for the anime Avengers, the one that everybody loves, the older one, slightly newish one, and everybody loves the Justice League. Everybody loved that cartoon, so hire anime writers as well. That's how I would save the entertainment, the comic book industry.